announce the stream. Maybe I should be announcing these in the RTEnnuiCaster server. But I'm not. That is not the task today. I have no very specific task. I just made some, hopefully improvements to RTEnnui, and anytime you make, quasi-major changes, you should, just make sure that it's all good. I also am considering, so like audio capture and playback isn't here. I'm considering moving video capture and playback into a separate thing as well. But that's a longer term consideration. Immediate consideration is I would like to look at audio streaming. Ugh. Specifically, I would like to look at where it plays and see if there's any way, because I had a concern that this felt like there were circumstances where it was breaking stuff down the line. Video chunk. So if it's, oh, that's the actual frame. Yeah, this is an actual frame of data. There was a bug, an error in the log, where this line was somehow getting an empty array. How could it possibly be an empty array? Is it meaningful to get a zero-length frame back? Is it possible to get a zero-length frame back? If you push in a zero-length frame, will you get a zero-length frame back? And if you do, will it have... Let me break everything by passing a zero-length frame in. See if that's the issue. I did not anticipate that being a problem, but I'm willing to believe that it's possible that that is a problem. Hello, Reggie. Welcome to dev streaming. So this, I am currently investigating a piece of software I wrote. Why won't the screen come back? Screen, come back, please. There it goes. I'm investigating a piece of software I wrote called RTEnnui, which is part of another piece of software I wrote called RTEnnuiCaster. So RTEnnuiCaster is a podcast recording service, and RTEnnui is the real-time communication component of it. And there was a bug reported in said real-time communication portion of it, so I'm checking it out. test that complicated for this. Testing, testing. So this shouldn't have any audio going through. This is certainly a thing. Interesting. Copy and frame. It's probably legitimate to say that a zero-length frame isn't valid in the first place, because what would it mean? my frames just shouldn't be zero-length. So maybe... 2019? 2020? Let's say 2020. I think that portions of it probably do go back to 2019. I mean, it depends on how broadly you define this project, because this arose out of another project, which is not the same project, and that's from 2019. So I guess this code goes back to 2020. How could this possibly be empty? The bug is that this was an empty array, and that was breaking things further down the road. And I mean, I can just check for it. I can say if that's an empty array, then fail. So, like, to be clear, this is fine. An array, because it's one float array per channel, and it's mono audio. So, like, an empty array here is fine. That's just a, one channel with no data in it. But this can't be empty, because that would mean no channels. And that's what was happening here. I just don't foresee any way that this can be incorrect. Following the right timestamps, the filter is happy. Unfortunately, I haven't even been able to reproduce the bug, so I'm trying to guess based on just a logged error message. Where does that actually break things? Yeah, if this throws... Because this is in a playing loop. Yeah, okay. I mean, it would be a more... This function would be better if I could guarantee that playing always gets set to false if anything bad happens. So really, I should have this whole thing in a try finally anyway. It would be better to catch the error in a more useful way. Why did that not work, Val? Second time's the charm. What happened there? That was weird. Yeah. So if the stream is closed, we break. This happens in the background, but we don't await it, so if it Wait! The throw, yeah, the throw was here, so that wouldn't have caused the issue in the first place. Oh. 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 In that case, it's like the only place the error can be is in the Opus decoder. Why would that have any issue? I'm gonna go look up the error message again. I'm afraid I can't share the actual error message because it contains personally, well, not very personally identifying information, but, you know, names and such. Yes, we couldn't get the length of that array at outproc_audio_playback.play called from peer anonymous, which is the function I was just looking at. Hello, Van Whitman. I guess I'm sort of stuck to look real hard and think real hard. Yeah. It should be essentially impossible for anything. Well, I guess decode. If decode fails. I mean, it was, my thought process was right, that this really ought to be in a try. Oh, and if this, wait, I was thinking since this is done asynchronously, it doesn't matter if it throws, but actually, it depends, like it's complicated. If this promise is already resolved, and yeah, that's the only promise in line. So if that promise is already resolved, then this happens synchronously, and the throw matters. Oy vey! And I mean, my logic was sound regardless. This really ought to be in the background, or in the background. This ought to be a try finally, period. Like, it was stupid of me that this is not a try finally regardless. So no matter why this loop quits, yeah, if it throws, then it'll continue to throw, but the playing will still be set to false. If it doesn't throw, then it'll just come here and playing will get set to false, and that's much more reliable, and that should be the only place where playing is set to false. Yes, it is. Oh, well. That's just within the loop, right? Yeah, I could have just broken there. This does not have to be return. Those returns are returning from the nested function. I mean, in a way, this isn't a solution to anything, it's just making it more robust, but being more robust is a good thing. You should try to make your code robust regardless. Testing, testing. Well, I don't think you can hear this, but it is non-broken. I can hear myself, as I should be able to. Wait, that was not a very complete test. I needed to actually break out of that loop to make sure that it is able to restart playing. So let's go ahead and get discontinuous audio. Testing, testing. Plenty long discontinuity, and yeah, it works fine. I do need to sit and think very hard about that throw. So decoding promise is almost certainly already done. Is there somewhere where decoded just gets set to something stupid? I know that there's a case of, yeah, creating empty packets, but it's not any of these. If it were null, yeah, if it were null, then I would have gotten a different error. So it is actually creating busted data. That's very odd. I forget, am I always using libavjs to decode Opus, or do I sometimes use the browser to do it? Oh, that's also in peer. Everything's in peer. Audio decoder. I do use browser Opus. Interesting. Should I tolerate browser Opus? I don't know why I wouldn't. It should work. Why did I think that I didn't? That wouldn't be in peer. That would be in room. That's not in room. Where is it? Oh, that's an outgoing audio stream. That's where the encoding happens, yes. Weird. Why am I so strange? So I do the encoding in software always, but I do the decoding in software or hardware. What a bizarre choice. Why did I do that? I mean, I guess because you're only encoding one stream, but you could be decoding any number of streams. So actually, the decoding, in spite of being a much less expensive process, is the one that benefits from parallelism more. The question is, why don't I trust the audio encoder built into the browser? The answer is, oh, I just don't, apparently. I don't trust the audio encoder built into the browser because, well, screw it. Hey, Firefox. How's your web codec support doing recently? Yeah, shut up. I've already got it enabled, no surprise there. No. Video encoder dot what? There should be video encoder dot is, there it is. Codec. Well, VP8 will be the easiest one to check, because you don't need any other details for VP8. For VP9, you need some long, awful thing. Is it coded width here, I think? Nope, it's just width and height here. Supported false. So you just support nothing then. I love how it implements video encoder and supports nothing. What am I supposed to do with this, Firefox? I mean, I realize that, like, they're still in the process of implementing web codecs, but the idea that it's like, video encoder is there, but it supports literally nothing, so good luck using it, punk. What a bizarre middle ground. The middle ground is, it exists, but is useless. Yeah, is there anything else it would conceivably support? I doubt it. Let's see if, only supported in Linux? What? Interesting. Does it have anything to say about which codecs it supports? No mention. Well, doesn't matter. Just getting distracted. That must stop doing that. I said must stop doing that. Oh my god. For some reason I can't get it to capture the mouse, and there we go. It was being weird. Okay, anyway, the other side of what I was thinking of is if I can and if I should separate video capture and playback into their own library as well. Because audio capture and playback is in its own library. Video playback, video decoder, canvas. What? Oh, video playback using a video decoder and canvas. Okay. Which is to say it uses video frames. Yeah, fine. Yeah, the only alternative is that it uses a media source, which, as I recall, is terrible and barely works. Yeah, I mean, I could make a library out of this, but it's one class that isn't even very big. The actual decoding, yeah, that's the thing. The actual decoding is happening here, so it's actually not worth it to separate that. Speaking of the actual encoding is happening there. Even Peer is only 2,000 lines. Okay, I was afraid that this was going to be gigantic. I mean, it's not small, but 2,000 lines isn't too bad. Okay, so this probably did fix things. Now, the bug I was actually dealing with recently was allowing one stream to play ahead even as the other stream falls behind due to network latency issues. And that involved making shift here much more complicated, so I'm going to just stare at shift for a bit and see if I broke it. Okay, so if we see a keyframe, but we're not looking for incomplete data, then this track is blocked because we need the keyframe to decode anything else. Fine. If we're looking for incomplete data but do not accept incomplete keyframes because we don't want to skip keyframes, then we return null. That's fine. You know what? Actually, there's a bug that's been bugging me that I will fix, which is the very first keyframe. There's like a how to put it? There's a I don't know how words work. I don't know how words work. There's a race condition where the very first keyframe typically doesn't go through, and so it takes like 2 seconds for the video to start, which is just very annoying. It could be almost instantaneous if I was just a little bit more careful with my keyframes. So let's think about being careful with my keyframes. So when you add, you don't add that to the peer, you add that to the room. When you add a video track, I don't see any reason why this isn't here. Similarly for audio track, but it's less important for audio track. Am I correct about that? Is there any reason that it can't be there? I'm calculating the frame size now, and that feels pretty important. You know what? I just need init and start to be separate. Wait, what causes this to start? This input is coming from elsewhere. That's not how it works for video, is it? No, it's not. What's actually... I don't remember how I did any of this. What's actually causing this? Oh, of course, you pass an audio capture in. Right, so the audio capture is already happening, and there's not a dang thing you can do about that. So actually this is still probably fine. Let me check about this new outgoing stream. What information does it need to be in? You know what? Never mind. Here's what I'm going to do. I will have a separate stream emit, stream init from stream start. And in fact, no, that's fine. I was thinking maybe stream init either doesn't need to be asynchronous or needs not to be asynchronous. Right, there it is. This is what actually makes it receive. Yeah, of course. That connects it to on input, so this just hasn't received any input yet. Fine. The reason why this makes such a major difference is that over here, not in source peer, over here, new outgoing stream is when it announces the new stream to everybody else, and so everybody else is going to receive that and then start receiving data. You know what? God, there's more race condition. The race condition is weirder than I thought, actually. Because these are on separate channels, because the actual data is sent unreliably, or at least is safe to send unreliably, whereas the new stream information has to be sent reliably. So they're going to oh no. This is so much worse than I thought. They're going to receive the most likely order that they are going to receive things in is the first frame of actual stream data first, and then the track initialization. They will, of course, ignore the actual data until the track is initialized. How do I deal with that? In fact, it's even worse than I'm saying, because you can easily get an unreliable connection to another peer with a direct connection, but for a reliable connection, you have to go through the server, in which case the fact of the new outgoing stream is being sort of buffered by the server, whereas the actual data is coming like imminently. I could change the new outgoing stream message to carry a keyframe, but it would have to have a keyframe for every track. Keyframes are complicated. I am genuinely unsure how to deal with this, if I even can deal with this. This is a problem that has been faintly annoying me, and now I'm realizing that it is a much trickier problem than I gave it credit for. I am unconvinced that I can solve this problem, actually. I can at least make it a much less terrible race condition, and I can do that like so. So new outgoing stream. Where is this going? Yeah, it always goes via server reliable. The way I could make it much less race conditioning is to send the very first keyframe of a new stream via the reliable server path. Because that is not only reliable, but ordered. So it will always receive the info and then receive... Oh, except that... Oh, man. There's a lot of asynchrony here. Because at the same time, like, once it receives the stream information, it starts configuring video decoders, and that's all asynchronous, too. I think this is like something to add to a known bugs or known unfortunate behavior list, not something that can actually be fixed. At least not that something that can be fixed in a sane way. No, I can't think of it if it can. I don't know how you would fix it. And by you, I mean me. I don't know how one would fix it, where one is me. Okay, I'm gonna go worry about something different then. The way that video is recorded is using Media Recorder. I just bumped the mic, sorry. Is using Media Recorder, and Media Recorder has this lovely property of being complete garbage. So I would like to not use it when possible. Oh. And I'm already not using it when possible. I'm using Video Encoder. So why am I not using Video Encoder on Mac, or on Safari rather? I think that, so the issues I've seen is that on Safari it falls through to this, but nowadays and this sucks, and nowadays Safari has video encoder, so I don't know why that would be happening. Afraid this is going to be another case of me being off on some other screen. You know what? This is a screen I can share. There's no reason I can't share this screen. Assuming I can find this screen. Well, that's mysterious. It just can't capture this. What's happening? Why can't it capture that? There we go. Okay, what was the configuration that was being tried here? ABC1.4243E. ABC1.42. I've already forgotten all of the words I just said. 403E. God. What is happening? Keyboard, please stop behaving like this. Just reconnecting. Now I'm allowed to type a weight. Supported false. Really? You don't support MPEG-4, but you're Apple. You're like the devil. If anybody is going to support MPEG-4, it's you. Do you support VP8? Does video encoder support nothing? Supported false. Oh, is the actual... It's not VP08, it's just VP8. So it supports at least VP8. Yeah, right, Van Whitman. The host name of this machine is trash. Oh, I guess we won't show the host name here. This is a trash machine I use when I need, for some reason, to use this trash operating system. Is this what's happening? Is that... Am I hallucinating? Just... How can it possibly not support MPEG-4? I mean, I'm all for Apple ditching MPEG-4, but I don't think they've done that. This, unfortunately, has a ridiculously long sequence here. 10, 8, 3, 1, 1, 1, 0. 10, 8, 3, 1, 1, 1, 0. You support VP9, you support VP8, but you don't support ABC1, which is H.264. This is probably the problem. Its VP9 encoder just isn't very good. So when I added, when I added support for doing this with video encoder, I did that before macOS supported, or before Safari even supported video encoder. So when they added it, macOS got switched over to VP9, but their VP9 encoder isn't very good. That's extremely funny. That's extremely funny. While this is also not my real desktop, this is closer to my real desktop than the garbage you just saw, Van Whitman. Oh, you know what? Does it... Media Why? Why is this happening? The keyboard keeps getting, like, screwed up and weird. Yeah, that's happening. I don't know why that's happening, but that's happening. Recorder dot is type supported webm no video slash webm codecs equals VP CP9 VP9. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's what the hell, Apple? This is bizarre. So video encoder does not support AVC1, but media recorder does? Am I hallucinating? Why does this keep happening? What is happening to the keyboard with RustDesk? This is very weird. I like RustDesk. I like RustDesk a lot, but what is happening? Equals AVC. That's insane. So Safari supports AVC1 in media recorder, does not support AVC1 in video encoder, supports VP9 in video encoder, does not support VP9 in media recorder. What? Have they gone completely mad? What is happening? Do you support VP8 in media recorder? Oh my, what is happening? It's weirder than oversight, Van Whitman, because they support orthogonal things. How can you have just missed it? Like, it would make sense if one of them supported everything and the other one supported, you know, everything minus one or something. But they have an orthogonal support list. That's one of the strangest things I've ever seen. That is really weird. Here's what I'm gonna do to fix this. So it's not inconceivable that it was just missed, sure, but it would be very, very weird because they're orthogonal. I think it would be weird for them to be orthogonal in that way. So I'm just going to ban Safari from anything that uses video encoder, honestly. I don't trust it. I suspect that what's happening is it's encoding with B-frames, and the format I'm putting this in doesn't support B-frames, so that's just going to break everything. I'm just going to stick no Safari true on all of these, except for the one I actually want. It's obviously absurd to just mark all of them as no Safari and then do it that way, but I would like to be able to, you know, remove those when it comes up, when it's possible. Do I have is Safari? Is that a function I've implemented somewhere? No. Navigator.userAgent.index of Safari greater than 0 and weird. I had is Chrome, but not is Safari in util. I guess so. In that case, I will re-implement this in terms of is Chrome. The reason such a complicated condition is required is that every browser calls itself every previous browser. Chrome calls itself Safari. Safari calls itself Mozilla. It's like weird. Safari calls itself KHTML, which calls itself Mozilla. I did not actually finish implementing this side of this. Something like that, Van Whitman. The user agents are, like, it's actually hilarious how the user agents work. Wait. I only use video encoder if I have media stream track processor? Safari doesn't implement media stream track processor, does it? I don't think Safari implements media stream track processor. Media stream track event? No. So Safari would not have been using that. It would be using the same thing it was ever using. So much for that idea. In which case, yeah, it is definitely using this. So it's a problem with the recapture. But the B-frames would still be a problem with the recapture. I'll bet it is using B-frames. I think I was still correct in my diagnosis. It just was coming through in a different way than I expected. Because if it is coming from an MP4, then it will have PTS and DTS, presentation timestamp and decoder timestamp, and they may not be the same. Just look for PTS. No, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it based on DTS. I'm just applying an offset to both of them. I'm doing it right. Damn. So the actual issue I'm getting is that occasionally recordings on Safari go blocky. They're not corrupted enough or anything to complain about it, but they go blocky and weird, and I was assuming some frames got out of order. But given the, frankly, quite clever way that I'm doing this, I'm not sure how that's possible. Unless it's happening as I pull them out of the MP4. Or or if that was entirely within the if condition of it being a non-MP4, and I'm just barking at the wrong stream. With video encoder, our timing is already correct. Yeah, this is all if it's not using video encoder. So indeed, I am using the PTS and DTS, so I was doing it right. Yeah, I'm doing it right. Well, I have no explanation then. That's like bug number 3 that I've thought about and then gone, nope. I fixed the initial problem I was after for today, but then everything else has been spectacular failure. I went through video playback. How do I do video capture? Video capture is way more complicated. This should be the version that's happening on Safari, but it's the version that's actually working. This is the version that's happening on Firefox, which is also working, but garbage. Yeah, I changed only the bit rate there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you what, I did accomplish something, even though I literally, this entire stream, just put something inside of a try finally. But that was an important try finally. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to call that a stream. Stream over.